We talk every once in a while about human sexuality courses, and generally when this comes up, the reason that it comes up is that a student in the class has usually had a problem with something that's being taught. We talked previously about classes that had pornographic videos shown as part of the curriculum, and obviously every once in a while a student will have a problem with that. So we have another very ridiculous human sexuality course that's being offered. And so Karen Royce, who is a former Western Nevada College at Carson City student, is filing a lawsuit with the U.S. District Court in Nevada against the former teacher who was doing this human sexuality course. And her reasons for doing it are so amazing. So as I'm reading these stories normally, I will mark off ridiculous quotes that I want to read. And the problem was that I was marking off almost every line because this class, based on what she says, was insane. So just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that was going on. On the very first day of class, Kubistant, who is the professor who is being targeted by this lawsuit, tells the students that he will increase their sexual urges to such a height that they won't be able to think about anything other than sex. You can't say that to your class, I wouldn't think.
That's really funny, but I don't have a problem with that.
He was naked while saying it.
No,
I'm joking, obviously. But you can't say that to your students. Like,
look, maybe he was trying to be colorful and funny. Maybe he was cracking a joke. Is this high school or college?
This is college.
Okay, I'm totally fine with that statement.
That's true. I guess tone is everything.
Yeah, it is. It's all about tone. Like, if he was being a pervy wanker, he's like, yeah, I need to think about sex every day.
If both of his hands were behind the lectern when he was saying it.
That would be questionable, but it just sounds like he was trying to be animated and fun.
Yeah, that's possible. You're right.
You have not rested your case yet, so tell me the rest.
No. I'm gonna say one thing in defense of your position before I continue reading the ridiculous quotes. I should point out that the student in question is 60 years old. So she's going to be a little bit more sensitive, perhaps, to the sexual shenanigans going on. So the next thing that they had to do, this is an assignment that was given to the students. They had to write 3 journal entries of 250 words each, which is actually pretty short, before the next class, disclosing their personal sexual thoughts, and explain that this was for a final project, which was titled A Sexual Case Study. Do you think a professor should be gathering the sexual fantasies of his students?
Where's the gavel?
Yeah?
Guilty. Guilty
on
he's
that guilty now?
Yeah, because why do you need to know the sexual fantasies and thoughts of your students? Like, that sounds like...
I think about the sexual fantasies of my former students.
It sounds like wanking material to me.
Speaking of wanking, actually, we have an additional thing. So let's see. The final assignment explicitly asked students to write about topics including, when did I begin an early exploration of my genitals? Describe any sexual abuse. You can't tell them to describe sexual abuse, especially because I should point out the student in question in this lawsuit had been sexually abused before.
Oh my God.
How did I lose my virginity? Did I experience a homosexual outing phase? And what challenges were associated with that? That seems fair. Describe personal promiscuity behaviors. And have you ever cheated, and how do you feel about it?
No, come on. Do we have like a consensus here? Like, you're not supposed...
Harry or Yoda.
What kind of nipples do you prefer?
You know, by the way, me asking you what kind of nipples you like on air, is that sexual harassment? Like, can you sue me for
the
that?
lawsuit is pending.
All right, but that's totally inappropriate. I'm on the 60-year-old woman's side.
Wait, I got one thing that's even worse. And this is the main thing she was complaining about. She says, it says that students were told to masturbate twice as much as they typically would in a week. When Royce told Kubistant that she did not masturbate, probably lying, the lawsuit says Kubistant told her students they must pleasure themselves and write about the experience. They didn't have to film, although that was probably an option. They were ordered to masturbate for the class.
Guilty.
In class.
Guilty.
Not in class.
Like the very first thing that the woman complained about how he said, oh, this class is going to make you think about sex nonstop. It's maybe a little tiny red flag, right? Yeah. But the masturbating, the journal about your sexual fantasies,
have you been abused?
That's way too much information to be sharing with a professor.
As
and
required
I'm curious,
assignments.
And also, you're essentially creating a record of your sexcapades. And you don't want that. Like, that's a horrible, horrible idea for him to do something like that.
That's supposed to be your personal diary.
Yeah, it's an invasion of privacy. Although if the student is willingly sharing that information, I don't know if there are legal issues there. But bad idea.
Yeah, it's one thing to tell them on day one that the class is going to be so hot they should bring a change of pants or something. It's another to make them masturbate for the class. But in all fairness, and because we have to present a balanced investigation of this story. Let's
be
one
CNN
source.
And just say that there are two sides. We don't know which side is wrong.
There are two sides, and I would say in this case, actually, they interviewed 20 other students, and the 20 other students did not have a problem with what was going on. They said that it was all like they knew ahead of time what they were getting into.
Those 20 students better hope to God they're not going to run for a public office at any time in their lives, because that journal of your sexual fantasies will definitely be exploited.
So you think he's guilty?
Yeah, totally guilty. It's so inappropriate. I mean, I get that he's a human sexuality professor and you talk about topics that might be taboo, but you don't make it about your students where you're like asking them for personal information. And also think about that power dynamic, right? He is a professor, so a lot of those students might feel obligated to share that information even when they don't really want to.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about their grade or whatever it is. So, disaster. Bad idea.
This guy's totally guilty.
Yeah.
First off, you don't know what he's going to do when he goes home and grades those papers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, maybe they'll start sticking together when he returns them. Who the hell knows?
Can I have my assignment
This guy-
back? No.
Look. There is no way he got this from, like, the teacher's manual on, like, so you should do this after Chapter 12, Section B.
You should be wanking by now.
No.
Yeah.
Guilty.
I'm so creeped out by him telling his students to, like, explore their genitals.
Twice as often as usual.
Yeah, that's just not
Yeah.
okay.